Hey everyone, it's Fox. I want to talk about time travel and the phenomena, UFOs. First, the question, is time travel possible? As far as I can tell has been answered several times, and the answer is yes it is, and I'll get into the science concerning that a little in a bit. Recently, a study was released supporting the notion that time travel is even possible, paradox-free, meaning going back in time and killing your grandfather wouldn't result in you never existing in the first place. It involves a phenomenon called closed timeline curves. But before we get into this, I want to invite you to subscribe. I talk a lot about science and technology, and particularly the weirder things this wondrous world has to offer, including the phenomena, UFOs. I like to argue for wonder. The weirder the better, and these days there is no shortage of weird, and I would love for you to be part of the conversation. But moving on. So, first let's establish something. Is time travel possible? Einstein's theory of general relativity proved time travel was possible, and people have actually done it. Einstein's theory reached the conclusion that time slows down or speeds up depending on how fast you are moving relative to something else, and this has been tested and proved to be correct numerous times. For example, astronauts on the International Space Station, after spending hundreds of days in orbit whipping around our planet at around 28,000 kilometers an hour, come back to Earth a fraction of a second younger than what they would have been had they simply stayed grounded. It's also theorized that we could utilize a black hole to travel through time as well, a special spinning type of black hole called a Kerr black hole, named after a New Zealand mathematician, Roy Kerr, who first dreamed it up. This is just some of the established science proving time travel is possible and does happen. So imagining an intelligent, technologically advanced species could master time travel is not too far-fetched. Now let's talk about the phenomena, UFOs. One of the possible explanations for the phenomena is that they are time travelers from a point in the future where time travel, like we see in the movies, is possible. People are quick to jump to the idea that the phenomena are future humans who come back for academic reasons, a history lesson. But I think there is a much more compelling possibility, and unfortunately, one that doesn't involve us humans at all. Assuming all these unknown vehicles buzzing around in our skies are time travelers, I suspect they very well could be an entirely different intelligent species that evolved right here on Earth only a few million years into the future. Humans, or Homo sapiens, have only been around for about 300,000 years or so. When talking about deep time, this is but a blip. It's really a nothing burger. Now imagine that we humans hit a great filter, a cataclysmic event that wipes us from the planet, like the dinosaurs. The Earth would recover, like it has recovered from past cataclysmic events, and would probably produce a set of circumstances that would open up room for and allow another species to develop over millions of years who may avoid a great filter scenario themselves and progress to the point where they develop time travel. Stay with me. What is one of the first things we would do if we developed a safe way to time travel? I think we would go back and get an eyeball on a dinosaur. Finally lay to rest any questions we may have concerning what they once looked like or behaved like. Perhaps there is a scenario where we're the dinosaurs, and an intelligent, time-traveling species from right here on Earth is coming back in time to put to rest all the questions they have about the remnants they keep digging up about us. In the far-flung future, there very well may be a museum of sorts, with a fidget spinner in it, with a plaque pondering the mystery of this 10 million year old artifact, wondering what it was used for and what its purpose was. Think about all the plastic we humans have produced. It's in everything. They have found microplastics in remote places like the deep Arctic. I'd imagine that a future species would look at their geological records and come to a period of time we would call the plastic age. They'd look at it and think, these are manipulated hydrocarbons. No way they developed naturally. So how did they get here? I have another video where I speak about a terrible truth Tom DeLonge keeps alluding to, but to many people's frustration, never comes out and says, perhaps this is it, that our fate as a species is locked in, and the time travelers know this, and have all but communicated as such to a select few humans to explain away their visits. Interestingly, the recent study I spoke about in the beginning of this video supports this notion. A time-traveling species is much more likely to do so and even reveal themselves if there were no consequences to their actions. Meaning the paradoxes that come with time travel are not paradoxes at all and nothing to be concerned with. Now, don't fret about our impending doom. Under this scenario, it raises an interesting possibility. Since there are no consequences for going back in time and changing things, perhaps if these UFOs are indeed from the future, then it would be much more likely that they would be willing to assist us if it wouldn't affect their timeline. I can imagine a scenario where humans are wiped off the face of the planet, only to be resurrected by a future civilization that, after coming back in time to discover Earth's deep past, ends up stumbling upon an interesting, intelligent species that only existed for a short 300,000 years or so. Recognizing our potential, they intervened to ensure another 300,000 or so years of thriving and evolving. After all, there's lots of time and space out there for any number of species to thrive in this universe. Perhaps they have come back to assist us to reach the technological singularity, what many believe is our natural progression. After all, things are coming down to the wire for our species. Many believe that this next decade is the most important one of all of them that came before us and will decide the fate of our species. Seems a little unfair. Hundreds of thousands of years of progress all comes down to what we do in a ridiculously small window of time. And if there is anything we know about this universe, it's that it is indifferent to our struggles, wants, or needs. And if we are to continue to thrive, it'll all be on us to do it, but perhaps we'll get a helping hand from the most unlikely of places. Thank you for listening. If you like my work, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And remember, this ride is not without risk. Be careful out there. Take care.